Nova Scotia is approaching a grim milestone. Just under 2 weeks from now, it will be the first anniversary of the mass shooting that claimed 22 lives. It started on April 18th in Portapique and ended 13 hours later after police shot the gunman. Psychologists say an anniversary like this one upcoming can make people realize they're not coping well. Certainly not as well as they thought. So this week, a program begins to help those who are still struggling. Brett Ruskin covered the shootings, was there at the beginning of the story, covered all of the aftermath, and this morning has more on the plans in the province for assistance. Good morning, Brett.
Good morning, Heather. A lot of us might be wondering if we're coping as well as we could be here in Nova Scotia, with 1 year now after the shooting, that anniversary coming in about 2 weeks' time or so. And so this program is being offered by the Association of Psychologists in Nova Scotia, and it actually begins this week, offering up to 3 free therapy sessions to anyone in Nova Scotia that wants it. You have to call a number, make your appointment, obviously. These sessions are being held over the phone or via video chat, video link. But they are offered for free by the Association of Psychologists of Nova Scotia to really help anyone who needs to talk about the experience. Again, the experience was quite a dramatic one 1 year ago with that Saturday into Sunday event where I began getting tips late Saturday night around 11:30, 12 o'clock about something brewing in Portapique with fires being lit, with homes on fire, and then it really began and continued in earnest the next day for most people, with tweets from the RCMP talking about fires that had been set, talking about a gunman who was dressed as an RCMP officer driving a vehicle that looked identical to an RCMP vehicle, in some cases pulling people over and shooting them at random, in other cases shooting people that he was familiar with. And so this was just a tragedy that claimed the lives of 22 people. And so this therapy is being offered for free for anyone in Nova Scotia. Heather.
So who do they think, the organizers of this program, think they might be able to help, particularly, Brett, with this type of assistance?
Sure. Well, I mean, they say that they're not expecting direct family members of the victims to have waited this long to seek therapy, to seek psychological assistance, following this tragedy. They think it's going to be more so people on the periphery, people who perhaps knew the victims casually, who knew of them, who are realizing now that they may not have been able to deal with that loss, with that grief, as well as they had hoped. Keep in mind, it was the middle of the pandemic. We couldn't hug. We couldn't hold the same types of funerals, the same types of mourning processes that we typically would in this type of case, this type of tragedy. And so, again, those are the folks who are really trying to be targeted, the people who are realizing that they may not be coping with this loss, with this tragedy, as well as they thought they might, again, 1 year on. Heather.
Brett, thank you. Brett Ruskin from Halifax this morning.